Official, the Long Beach native is transferring to UCLA. Imaliva confirmed his decision on Instagram. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years, Parkside Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Other but know you happy. Hate to see you happy if I'm not the one driving. I'm so mature, I'm so mature, I'm so mature. It got me a therapist to tell me there's other men I ain't doing one night. I just want you. If I can't have you, no one should. I might, it's not the best idea. His new girlfriend's next. How I get here. I might.
KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, so in a quest to make sure we don't forget all about love, marriage, romance, relationships, and situationships, we dedicate the third Monday of every month to Messy Mondays, our relationship rules, regulations, or lack thereof, our messiness or ways to overcome that. And the last Monday of every month is Black Marriage Monday, where we look at just the opposite, how people are doing it, those that are staying committed, those that are in great long-term relationships or hard long-term relationships that have committed to making it work, to finding a way forward and what is working for them. That's next week. Right here, right now, it's Messy Monday. And I thought we would start out with a conversation, Miles, about a story. It's an old story, but it's gone viral in this moment right now on the internets. Sometimes things pop up. An old story means going back in time. I think it was 1959, if I'm not mistaken, when Sidney Poitier and Diahann Carroll made a movie together. There, of course, was the first Black Oscar winner, was a huge movie star at the time. Diahann Carroll was the first Black woman to star in a television show that was a drama as the solo star, and she is a legendary beauty, just a gorgeous, beautiful, powerful Black woman. That was in 1968 when she landed the lead role in the show Julia, which was the first time ever to see a Black woman not just being, singing, dancing, clowning. She got a Golden Globe, back in 1968 when we didn't get those. And, of course, people know her from Dynasty. Poitier was a huge star. He was really the first big black movie star. So they met on the movie musical Porgy and Bess. That's where they first met. And they were both married to other people. Poitier was married to Juanita Hardy, his first wife, and Diahann Carroll was married to record producer Monty Kaye. And this, I guess, happens on sets. It's famously, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie were in relationships that they ended up getting married. Anyway, these two had a famous affair, but apparently the story goes they fell in love on the set. They both decided that after they were done filming the movie, they were going to go tell their spouses that they had fallen in love and they wanted a divorce. And then they were going to move in together, get married, and go on their way. But apparently what ended up happening is that, as I understand it, Diahann Carroll went home. She broke the news to her husband, asked for a divorce, and moved out. But Poitier went home and changed his mind and did not ask his wife for a divorce until years later. And just reneged on their deal, I guess you could say. Their plan, whatever you call it, their pact, early situationship. But they kept seeing each other. They carried their relationship on for 9 years while she was divorced and he was still married. So it's interesting to me, talk about situationships and messy Monday. I mean, this is messy. And on the internet, a lot of people were blaming her, like she's going out with this married man, which she was. She was. But they were both married when it started, so they were both wrong. And she gave him grace. She didn't, she later, in hindsight, she didn't call him a dog and this and that and that. But I think there's a double standard.
This is messy, all right.
Yeah.
That is a messy situation. What's the messiest part about this to you, Dominique?
The messiest part is that they both were dating each other while they were both married to other people. I mean, I think, what's the messiest part to you?
There's no children involved, right?
Well, yeah, he had a bunch of kids.
With her?
No, not with her. No.
Okay, I thought you meant between.
With his wife, no. Yeah, with his wife, no.
Yeah, I think the messiest part is going home and then keeping that same secret from your wife and not spreading that. I think that would have been the great time to do it. If you're going to do it, if it's over, say it's over when it's over. Hey, babe, I fell in love. It's going to hurt. I get it. But at least you being honest, at least you getting the truth out there and you can move on from that. But then to go home and say, you know what, I'm going to love everybody and not be honest with what you want to do, that's the messy part for me.
That's the messy part. Yeah, I mean, that you and I met, speaking of messy, we met on the Michael Baisden show when you were producer and I was the news director / co-host. Very messy, but Baisden always says that honesty is the answer. Yeah. That let people decide whether they want to be in a relationship that is polyamorous or whatever, whether they want to be in a non-exclusive situation. That didn't happen in this case. And there was speculation that part of it was that in that time, Poitier's wife, it would have been bad for his image to divorce his wife. And that black women in that time, I mean, you look at the big movie stars like Diana Ross, who was a movie star / music star. They were a lot of them were in interracial relationships. A lot of them had their images outsized to their career, meaning if you were gay, you couldn't say you were gay because you were gonna lose all your fans. If you were a womanizer, it had to be kept secret. Now people are more out front with that stuff, I think.
Yeah, and I agree on that. Image aside, though, just as a man, as a woman, as a person, to hide that type of love, 'cause that clearly wasn't, I'm looking at the credits now, that wasn't the first or the last time they worked together over this time span. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, to have a close-knit work relationship be love, I understand a work relationship being fun or you know what I mean, something a little less serious, but for it to be love over these years to the point where you left your husband and you still coming back around to work with this man, and vice versa, you're supposed to leave your wife, but instead you still coming. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a thick one.
To be honest with you, you know what? I'm not going to say that, because we always say I would do this and I would have done that.
What'd you do?
You don't know what you would do.
What would you do?
I feel like if we made a plan that you're leaving your wife and you don't leave, then I'm out.
Blowing his spot up on the way out? You already left your husband. Do you blow up his spot on the way out, Dominique?
Yeah. No, I don't think I would do that.
Okay.
In fact, I can tell you with some certainty that I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
It's not my style. I'm not that messy. I'm messy on the air, but I'm not messy off the air. I'm not that messy. I don't believe that revenge is in my hands. God's got me. That's how I look at it.
Would it even be revenge if it's something you got into, you knew you shouldn't have got into in the first place, though? Is it okay to get into? Is it okay? There we go. Is it okay to be looking for other options while you're married?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. But I mean, okay, you're still quite young, Miles. I don't mean to be condescending, but I think that there's a lot of things we say we would never do when we're younger. And as you get older, you give other people more grace because you don't know what you would do in a certain pressure and situation. We have what we hope we would do. We have our standards and morals, but we don't know 100% what we would do. No, you shouldn't be looking. But what if you're not looking? You know, they were in a movie together. I'm not making an excuse, but, you know, they're kissing and all this stuff. And that happens to people. I'm not saying it's good. It's maybe why a lot of people don't want to mess with actors. But I'm just saying it happens.
I get it. I believe it. I've never been married. And that just seems so wild to me, though.
Yeah.
I get it. Sometimes the door is open. Not everything is how we expect it to be at home, how it is portrayed in our faces. We don't know everybody's ins and outs of their relationship. So yeah. I understand it. But for that to be an option, I think that, you know, whatever comes your way from leaving that door open, that's on you. I don't have any empathy, any sympathy for either one of them.
No,
but
not really, no. No, because they're grown adults who did something that they know is morally problematic.
You have a significant other at home that you made these vows to, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And marriage is a commitment. That means you got to ride through whatever hardships happened and find a way to get through it, or else bow out.
Be honestly and bow out. Exactly. See, me personally, I've never, have I ever? I don't mix where I work with my sex life and people like that. So that whole frame is wild to me, that you let that happen to you in your life, that you allowed that person to, you know, somebody you're working with to take over the position of your home life. It started off as work. It didn't start off as I met you somewhere looking for love. I came into this relationship that we have together already in love, already with somebody. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, what would you do?
I don't think I wouldn't be messing with anybody I work with off top.
That part.
Well, I don't do that.
We haven't even gotten into that part yet. I mean, aside from the adultery thing, right? That's a work colleague. Now y'all break up. That's real messy. Now you got to go work with that person and try to maintain. Yeah, I think, I don't know. You're right. I don't have sympathy for either, but it also brings up another point that I hear a lot from particularly black women, but maybe women in general. You look at Diahann Carroll, just an incredibly gorgeous, successful woman that should have tons of options. And why does she feel compelled to stay with this man who's married for 9 years?
Didn't follow through on his commitment.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I think that goes to show I don't think there's as many great options for these women as they want you to believe, fellas.
Well, as yeah, I guess as they want you to believe, but also as men just tend to believe, because just because a million people are shooting their shot doesn't mean they're qualified.
Right, true.
Meaning all the people that are coming at Diahann Carroll, she probably has a ton of options, but she probably doesn't have a ton of great options. I'm sorry though, if we made a pact, and you, even if it was a thieves' pact in a sense that we were both wrong, and we said we were going to do this, and then you didn't follow through, I'm gonna have to be out. Messy as it may seem, I'm gonna have to be out. You can't tell me you're gonna do this, because then I'm gonna feel like I can't trust you. I know. Honor among thieves. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And I know situationships is a kind of a newer word, but actually the practice of situationships has been around for a very long time, probably since we've had people getting in and out of relationships that aren't quite relationships, that have strings and asterisks and fine print. But I think this is a great example of a situationship. There's an article I was reading, and we'll talk about more when we come forward, about how Gen Z is now tired of situationships and they're ready to get committed and go into marriage. Miles, you don't believe it? You're making that I don't believe it face.
I believe it. Because we're these generations after my generation is, they're redoing a lot of these standards. A lot of things are changing for them. They don't drink alcohol as much anymore. They don't, you know what I mean? So I get it. But wow, that's a big shift to turn back from where the generation is right now.
Especially Gen Z, because a lot of them don't even believe in monogamy. They believe in principled, whatever, non-monogamy. It has another name. I can't think of it. It means you sleep around, but everybody knows you're doing it.
Right.
That's Gen Z. I mean, you know, and I sometimes call them the gay generation because they're pansexual, bisexual, trisexual, asexual.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Well, all right, 800.
What is marriage? What is this marriage these Gen Zers want? What does that define?
Right. What are they calling marriage? Like what? Yeah, it's a great point. Love to hear from you on a messy Monday. We all over the place. Talk about that when we come forward. What are the millennials doing on that front? I wonder. That's your gen. All right, it's KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Dominique DiPrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-550-9651.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
After producing an award-winning climate justice campaign in 2024, KBLA Talk 1580 has gone all in on its 2025 Climate Justice plus Black Health Initiative. April is Minority Health Month, and Urban Family Focus, in partnership with Providence Health Systems, presents The Heart of the Matter. Providence doctors and health equity officers will participate in informative and life-changing conversations on hypertension, health equity, behavioral health, and community engagement. Don't miss these empowering conversations on Urban Family Focus every Saturday in April at 7 and Sunday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sponsored by Providence, Southern California's largest and most comprehensive health care network. We've got a lot to talk about on KBLA Talk 1580. Download the KBLA 1580 app or log in to KBLA1580.com. I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. On KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I do appreciate you on this messy Monday. Miles Lowe helping me out here on the conversation. I wouldn't put Poitier on blast. We were talking about Sidney Poitier and Diahann Carroll and their famous 9-year love affair where he stayed married after promising to break up. Because I would, no matter how sad or mad I was, I would always be taking responsibility for my own decisions. I wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place had I not decided that I wanted to get involved with a married man. Link is in the DM saying that Diahann Carroll died lonely. He said she did a very sad interview from a limousine driving through Beverly Hills about her life and the choices we make. That is really sad. Okay, let's go to Eric calling us from Carson. Hi, Eric.
Good morning, Dominique.
Good morning.
I was listening to the conversation that you and Miles was having, and I just had to join in and just say, I'm a single man, and I've never been married, but I have lived. I have life experience. And so I have a full-time job and a part-time job, and most of the people that I come in contact with are at my part-time job. I come in contact with thousands of people. That's where I spend the majority of my time, and that's where I'm going to meet people at. And so I agree with Miles that that's common sense that you shouldn't, eat where you sleep. I don't know how that phrase goes.
You shouldn't poop where you Well, you sleep. Yeah, you shouldn't poop where you sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I'll bring it home. Thank you. And I'll bring it home with marriage. To me, should start with, first we have to make sure we're equally yoked, and that means in our religion, in our finances, in our thought process. That's because to me, you can cheat in 10 minutes. So what if you think you're going to, I'm speaking for myself, if you think you're going to marry somebody and they're not going to sleep with anybody else for the rest of their lives, if that works for you, go with that. But my opinion is, I don't care what you do. All I want you to do is make sure I don't get any phone calls and nobody knocking on this door. And as long as you don't fall in love with anybody else, that little kickback might help our relationship.
Wow, Eric. So you actually would be okay with your wife having an affair as long as it doesn't end up in your lap and she doesn't end up in love?
Okay is not the way I would say it. I would say that I'm practical, and I'm saying that I don't know what you do, and I ain't got time to worry about what you do or don't do. I'm worried about us, and so you just do what you do. Just don't bring it here, because when you bring it to me, it's a problem.
Right. Miles, what's your reaction when you hear that from Eric?
Eric, do you believe in soulmates?
I do. I've never found mine, but I believe they exist.
Why aren't, a lot of women would say, why aren't you married? Why have you never been married? We always think, just like men say, how are you single? Like there's something wrong with me.
I have the answer to that question.
What is the answer?
I am a homeowner. I got a good job. I look okay. I have never found a woman that wanted to marry me. I could have married somebody and I'd probably be divorced right now. And now I have assets and things to lose, and I have to protect them. So if I get married, now I got to do a prenup, unless I find somebody that's equally yoked that got what I got. I'm not taking my stuff.
I mean, that's a good idea to do a prenup, even if you don't have nothing. Because you can end up with something. Yes, because you can end up getting something. You live in California. Carson is in California. She gets 50%. If you win the lottery or come up. Mm-hmm.
If I marry you and we both have nothing, then if I build this with you, I don't want to keep this from you. You are entitled to have, but you're not going to get half of what I already have.
Well, yeah, I might.
Unless I give it to you.
I might, Eric. But anyway, hold that thought. We got news, traffic, and the sports. It's a messy Monday. We're talking situationships, relationships, and all of the other ships. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Pope Francis is dead at the age of 88. Francis will be the first pope buried outside the Vatican in a century. Instead, Francis will be placed at the St. Mary Major, one of the oldest churches in Rome, and the one he would visit for prayer before trips abroad. Sean Diddy Combs' federal sex trafficking trial will proceed as scheduled, following an attempt by his defense to get it delayed. Diddy's lawyers argue that they should have another 60 days to prepare their defense arguments. Trial will start on May 5th as planned. The Trump administration is at odds with Democrats over the case of a Maryland man wrongfully deported to El Salvador. The DOJ originally admitted Kilmar Abrego Garcia was mistakenly sent to El Salvador. Security is high for today's Boston Marathon. Local, state, and federal authorities collaborate annually on the extensive security plan. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers are back in action tonight in Denver in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The number one item for the Clippers in Game 2 has to be ball handling. The Clippers had 20 turnovers Saturday in their 2-point loss to Denver in Game 1. That was the Clippers' first loss since March 30th at Cleveland. 7 p.m. tip-off tonight on TNT. The Lakers and Houston Rockets, the number 3 and number 2 seed in the Western Conference playoffs, are the only playoff team teams to lose Game 1 at home. All 4 home teams in the Eastern Conference were winners in Game 1. The Lakers have some extra time to make improvements after their Game 1 loss to Minnesota Saturday night. Game 2 is Tuesday night at Crypto.com. Former Tennessee quarterback Nico Imaliva made it official. The Long Beach native is transferring to UCLA. Imaliva confirmed his decision on Instagram. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm ready. Let me just grab my bag. Sweatpants, huh? Didn't know we were keeping it casual this month. Yeah, I feel bloated every now and then.
You have to try new Align 3-in-1 Biotic Gummies. They have prebiotics to nourish good bacteria, probiotics to help relieve occasional bloating, and postbiotics for immune support.
All that in one gummy?
Yep. So no sweatpants next time?
Not anymore.
Align 3-in-1 Biotic Gummies for gut health support. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Testing.
We're live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the Mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
It's a messy Monday, and Eric from Carson has got them buzzing in the chat room because he said, hey, don't bring it home. I can live with it. Not saying I love it. Paul Lee says, LOL, he just okay with open relationships. And Morris says, my daddy said if her clothes are in the closet, you good. I don't know. That does sound a bit like an open relationship. And I'm just thinking about, I know monogamy is not for everyone. There are people who are in polygamous or polyamorous relationships that are committed. I just think about the energy that's coming in from outside. If you are actually having sex with someone outside of your marriage, you're bringing their spiritual, emotional, as well as literal, physical stuff into the home, matter, particles.
And what I've not to add on top of that, what I've also observed is it's usually a regular person. It's usually marriage people, what I understand, isn't random people and random hookups. It's more of a like, yo, this is my second type of partner, my
this
regular
is my
few
side
people.
piece.
So you're really getting influenced in from exactly that person is.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I know some men say that monogamy is not realistic for most men. You don't agree with that, Miles?
I think polygamy is more than men bargain for. I think men see a lot of the fun for it and a lot of the the fantasy of it, of multiple women, and not understanding how it is to deal with on a day-to-day multiple women, multiple cycles, multiple attitudes, multiple things you need to please them on. So
expectations, yeah. Eric, are you one? Well, it sounds like it because you said it's practical to have a more realistic expectation that someone may sleep with someone else over the course of their lifetime. But are you one that doesn't believe monogamy is possible?
I believe anything is possible that two people make a decision on. And to respond to the guy in the chat, I would say I don't believe in open relationships. I believe in an open mind. And I want to just, if I could, real quick, touch on Diahann Carroll.
Yes, sir.
She was a beautiful woman, and she made a choice. She made a choice that I'm going to stay with this relationship, but my heart, my business is over here. My heart is over here with Sidney Poitier. And so you can't get to the end. I'm not as old as you are, Dominique, and you're not old, but I'm older than Miles. And so my thing is this. I feel like you can't get to the end of the road and then start regretting. That's the one thing that I live for today. I don't want to wake up one day and say, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda. So she made a choice for reasons that nobody knows. And my opinion is she made a good one at the time. She kept her business straight, and he was just a love affair.
Meaning because her career stayed on track.
Yeah, because I think it would have been messy otherwise. I know somebody who I respect who did the same exact thing, and it was the smartest decision that this person ever made. So I'll just, say again, you have to live life to understand it. And it's easy to talk intellectually and make it sound okay. But in this rat race, you got to be realistic if you want to be a player.
Yeah. Miles and I were talking about this off the air too, though, Eric. Like, I always feel like my personal life is meant to be for me and not for sale. And so how do you keep your personal life private, but also, like you said, taking care of, she was taking care of her business and her career, but she also didn't really have she had a private life because they were having a romance, but she didn't have someone that she could lean on, that she could, really be there for her outside of the arena of the career. Maybe she did. I don't know. But I don't see how that works. The man is married. You guys are both movie stars. Like, can I lean on him for advice, for support, for love when I need it? Or is it just at convenience?
I think one of those kind of relationships, you're going to get what you get when we're together. That's all you're going to get out of that kind of relationship.
Right. So, but you're right. We're grown folks and we have the right to make decisions. Why did you ask if he believes in a soulmate? Maybe she thought Sidney Poitier was her soulmate.
Right. Well, that was more towards just a question for Eric because, like you said, like we just said, Dominique, I feel that some things that are for me is for me. And if you are my soulmate, personally, it's a deal breaker to have you out there soul tying with some other man late night. So
Miles, I kind of feel like, I don't know why I think this. I don't have any evidence to support it, but I feel like you have really clear and fairly strict standards of what you want and don't want in a relationship.
I know myself well enough to know what I will and will not accept, so I don't even try to convince myself or that something's going to make me step past what I'm uncomfortable dealing with and laying up with. So I wouldn't say I have unrealistic standards, but I'm definitely clear on what some of them are.
And we were just talking about how, according to the press, Gen Z is... Well, this is from the New York Post, actually, but they cite a couple of studies showing that Gen Z folks are moving away from situationships and getting into marriage. And you said, well, what does that even mean to them? But are millennials getting married?
I'm not sure.
I know some of the ones that are friends. I know quite a few who actually have tied the knot, but
I know a lot that are getting married, but I do know what I know and I've seen more of as opposed to just marriages. I haven't seen. I'm seeing a lot more divorces this early into my friends' marriages. I'm seeing a lot more loneliness than I'm seeing happiness of relationships and happily married. So I think that's the pandemic we're going to be dealing with going forward.
Those are what people don't understand. You can be in a marriage and be lonely if you're not connecting.
Right.
In fact, it's more lonely because you are not outside. So hopefully you're not outside. But this article on Tovima was really interesting because it says that the way that dating is now, where things are sort of nebulous and ambiguous and people don't really always know where they stand. This one relationship experts and psychologist said she's telling her clients, no, that's actually a situationship that you're in. And the person didn't realize it because they don't have anything to compare to. There's no sort of standard, or there's no, default of what we expect a committed relationship or a marriage to look like. You actually came from a 2-parent household for a good part of your life. Do you think that influenced you?
No, I think I'm just I'm still a little old school. I still like to talk to people. You're talking about people who have spent the last how many years only meeting people online, swipe left, swipe right, meeting people that are long distance, meeting people on the internet. Like, that's what their whole idea of a real life dating pool is, like a video game. And it may work for you to a certain extent, but when it comes time to have somebody that's not just on their phone, that's actually within your, network of you, within reach for you, within the same city as you, got the same resources as you, the same background mentally, the same, social hangups you have. To actually find that, you got to open your mouth and actually learn the person.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Even when people do meet face to face, I've had this situation where I met someone face to face, but really they just wanted to text all the time.
Right.
And I need to talk to you. I don't mind texting. I'm busy. So sometimes all I can do is text with you. But it's not a substitute for talking. That's why I laughed when you said you were old-fashioned and you like to talk. Because a lot of folks are fueling their relationship pretty much with just texting at this point.
Texting and, the internet fueling what they should expect from this relationship. So you're not actually experiencing real people and the differences you guys have and blending them together. You're looking at what the internet is telling you it should be. And if it's not that, I'm out.
Yeah, that's real dangerous. Eric, did you want to land for me?
Yeah, I was praying you would let me make one last comment.
You got it.
I had the pleasure of seeing Sinners this weekend, and there was a scene in the juke joint.
Yeah,
I'm not going to spoil it. I promise you.
Yeah.
Excellent movie, but there was a scene where Sammy, who was the cousin to the brothers, the twins, he had a situation with a married woman, and it was a minute, and it was the best experience of her life. And I'll rest with that. That's what happens every day.
Okay, well, she needs to, yeah. Okay.
Chasing that high.
Right, it's like she did crack and then she spent the rest of her life chasing that high, which had, unintended consequences, side effects, and life-altering changes. It's a messy Monday, 800-920-1580. Ever been in a situationship? Are you messy? I don't know. I think that the bottom line has to be about taking responsibility for your actions, not so much to the world, but to ourselves. Otherwise, I'll spend my whole life blaming somebody else and not looking at what is my role in finding my happiness. 800-920-1580. That's the number Eric called. I invite you to do the same. It's a messy Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
no warrant, no key, my privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights. Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least liked to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And it's a messy Monday, so we are talking relationships, situationships, and the like. But look, on the on a get your money right tip, whether you're dating or marrying or divorcing, you might want to join me at the Hawthorne Business Expo this Thursday from 3 to 7. It is free. You can register at hawthornebusinessexpo.org. So another another study says that right now relationships with huge age gaps, what they call May-December relationships, are having a moment, not just for men, which has always been traditional in Hollywood for older men to have very, 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 very young women, but also the other way around. It says that a couple of articles here saying that Generation Z in particular, it's not just that they're looking for sugar daddies or sugar mamas, but they just don't care. They don't care about a lot of things that we would traditionally care about. And there was a study done by Bumble that shows that people are they're widening their range of who they would consider as a partner. I feel like that's less relevant if you're, if you want to have kids and you're trying to start a family with a traditional marriage, you're probably going to want to be closer in age. But this is according to Ipsos. They're saying 40% of Americans have been in a relationship where the gap is more than 10 years.
Okay. And also, I'm glad you said that the source is a Bumble, a place that's a dating app.
Right.
Because I don't see enough confidence in the younger generation to go up and approach somebody from an older generation. I just don't see that from a talking standpoint. So it's probably the other way around, I'm assuming.
The older ones going after the younger ones.
Right. I mean, December's coming out. You said May, December. December's coming after May, I think.
You don't think May's coming after December?
Right.
You would be surprised. I have a girlfriend. I have one girlfriend, and you know her, but I'm not going to put her on blast right now. Young men are always coming, and I'm talking about men 20 years and more younger than she is. They're always chasing her.
I'm sure now from that perspective though, I'm pretty sure she's getting that same type of energy from men her ages too. She may not be attracted to him, but if you're that fine to where you got the young guys coming up to you, I'm sure you got older guys coming to you.
Yeah, no, she does have older guys. And I don't, she doesn't exclusively date younger guys. It's just that they're always shooting their shot. Like she dates older guys too.
Look at that. She's not focusing on the older men that want her. Her focus is on the younger men that want her. Your focus is off, baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe not off, but do you plan on marrying and being with the younger man? Or is that just cool because...
I don't think it's that she's only focused on the younger guys. I mean, because I'm not going to lie. I have my share of young guys that talk to me too. I think it's that she's focused on who's talking to her that's qualified. You know what I mean?
The younger men are qualified, is what she's saying. These are qualified younger men.
To her, they're qualified. I mean, whatever her qualification is, because your qualification is based on what you're looking for, right? She doesn't want to get married. Most women that I know want a man who is, can at least pay his own way, right? If he can't support her, and has some things going on in his life, who's not boring and who takes care of himself. And I hate to say this, but, there are a number of men over 40, over 50 that just don't take care of themselves. That's the rap on women. They let themselves go, but men do it too.
Right. True. 100%. I just, I've been getting told lately as I get up in age and get a little bit older,
up in age,
how I need to keep my eyes open for love to come from whichever way it comes to me from whoever it comes to me from.
Older, younger, whatever race, because I know you prefer black women.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, it's going to, my love is going to be a black woman. My love is going to be somebody who, minimal enhancements. You know what I mean? Gonna love her natural beauty, her natural hair, like all that type of stuff.
I love the way you put that, minimal enhancements. Doesn't mean you can't have any enhancements, but...
Yeah, you're a woman. I get you. You may want to, make yourself up and have your hair, however. But no surgeries for me.
Right.
But what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to. Pretty much, I don't want to miss out on something. Is what they're saying. If I should limit myself from what I'm chasing to what is attracted to me. And
yeah.
I'm not necessarily.
You're not necessarily what?
I'm not necessarily, I'm more of a pursuer though. You know what I mean? So I think it's different for somebody who's accepting, every age range coming at them, and then you're making a distinction off of which is better for you.
Paul Lee says Miles got it right. Miles is right again, 100%. And Jeff M., you're right. Tracy Ellis Ross told Michelle Obama on her podcast that she only dates younger men for that reason. And she's getting a lot of flack about it online. People are calling her a predator, a cougar, saying she's wrong for that. But I just don't think they would. That's where I started. I don't think they would say the same about a man who dates younger. And, I don't care. Date younger, older, date who you love. I'm not worried about it because when love hits you, you won't care. If you meet someone that's actually your soulmate and they're younger than you thought they would be, older than you thought they would be, lighter, darker than you thought, shorter, taller, you won't care.
Good or bad?
I think it's good. I think it's what makes the human race persist, because otherwise we would all sort of be inbred, or, everybody would only date. You need variety in the genetic pool. So I think the fact that we don't always control who we love is a good thing. Morris says it's getting hot in here. Does that seem like a bad thing to you? I mean, obviously you don't want, if it's someone married or someone who's a serial killer, you want to try to get over that and not pursue it. But if you meet someone available, let me put it that way, and you love them, all of those rules are going to go out the window, Miles. That's what I believe.
Right. And maybe I haven't been in that type of love yet, and maybe I'm just, a Superman's man, but if it doesn't make sense to why I'm going to love you, I don't think I can just make love be the driving engine for me. It's just love.
If it doesn't make sense to why I'm going to love you. I like that. It sounds like clear boundaries, self-esteem. rooted in a worldview. I'm not mad at that. But that person that you love is going to have all those qualities in a way that you hopefully in a way that you wanted, but maybe not in the way that you expected.
Right. And I'm open to that. I'm definitely open to it, but it's got to make sense to me, Dominique. I can't move blindly in love. That's terrifying for me, is to be blindly in love. So I kind of, maybe that's my wall, is being blindly in love.
Well, they say love is blind, but it sounds like you don't think so.
Oh, I got 2020. We got to have vision, baby. No.
Well, Morris says in the chat, you see him there, Miles. He says, "You're right, Dominique. You won't care what WTF mom and dad say either. I got the results."
Straight up, I get you there.
You could see that.
I mean, I see. I've been the person that the woman's parents wouldn't approve of, but ends up being, right for her. I understand that.
I've been that girl too. I'm not gonna lie. I've been that girl that the family didn't approve of.
Daddy, he's so yeah.
Yeah, but then they effed around and found out. Why don't you? What happened to Dominique? I thought y'all didn't like her.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that messy is getting more out in the open. I think messy has always been around, but it's getting more out in the open. And I pray that if millennials and Gen Zers are really embracing marriage, that they will look into the science of it, look into the longevity of it, look into the commitment of it, and find a way to do it not just as a status symbol or to be perfunctory or messy, but to find, lasting love and support.
Right. And keep God in your marriage, ladies and gentlemen. Keep God in the marriage.
Yeah, well, there's a whole show there. Like, how do you do that? There is a whole show there. But our Monday is almost up. Tavis Smiley's got you. He's got a great show ahead, as always. So you're going to want to keep it locked in for that. I hear there's something very, very special happening right after that, although I'm not authorized to speak on it. I'm like one of those anonymous people. So you're definitely going to want to tune in to Dr. Cornell West today, right after Tavis Smiley. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Bell Hooks. She says, "Love is a combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust." Doesn't sound messy at all. Let's keep it going, messy or not, on our social media. We're at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. I am at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. Please like, follow, subscribe, and make a messy comment. Like my mama used to say, history's now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Pope Francis is dead at the age of 88. Francis will be the first pope buried outside the Vatican in a century. Instead, Francis will be placed at the St. Mary Major, one of the oldest churches in Rome, and the one he would visit for prayer before trips